hint it, you know who this is. This video will be a video response to All Black Clothes video. Mr. Jonathan, broadcasting live from New York City. Alright, what's up, Papa? Alright, so you wanted us to talk about different things that were kind of embarrassing that we experienced as a result of our mental disorder. Okay, one is from anxiety and the other one would be from a cognitive standpoint. Okay, the first incident, which was an anxiety-induced incident. Anxiety is when you get like really intensely nervous and either you start shaking, your voice shakes, or you might get a tremble, you might start sweating, you might start getting really nervous, your heart might start pounding. Any number of things. You just become very uncomfortable and you just really want to get the heck out of there. Alright? So anyway, I'm at the store and I'm getting the things that I need and want and whatever. And so I get to the register. And so at this particular place, they had things, and some of you may have heard me relate this story once before, so just ride with me on this. So we're there and I'm at the counter and the lady like, okay, will this be all for you? I'm like, well, actually, no, there's something I want behind you. And she goes, okay, well, what is it? I open my mouth, and for only gosh knows what happened, I got so anxious and freaking nervous and uncomfortable. I said, I want. That's exactly what happened. I could have went under the floor. She just looked at me, and there was some people behind me, and they just kind of like, what the, you know. There was no outburst or anything, but it was awful. If I could have crawled through a crack in the floor to get out of there, I would have. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. So that went on for several seconds, and finally I was able to identify the item that I needed. She went and got it, and put it in the bag, rung it up, and I was out of there. You know, it was very undignifying. All right, so the second thing that happened to me once was a cognitive syndrome. Sometimes because of the schizophrenia. Well, my diagnosis in terms of mental health is schizoaffective bipolar disorder, so which basically, for those who aren't familiar, it's a mixture of schizophrenia and bipolar. So the schizophrenia portion of the illness at times gives me problems with cognitive things. Cognitive is your working memory, keeping track with things, learning, processing information, a whole host of things. Just, you know, think about how your brain functions. Your brain does all kind of things all day long. You know, it tells you how much space it is between you and the wall that you're walking past. It tells you, figures out the answers to questions that maybe you're in class, the professor asks a question. Your brain computes it really quick. Boom, this is the answer right here. You raise your hand, boom, that's the answer. Your brain helps you to spell things, right? Just all the things that you do, get dressed, all that. All right. So what happens in cognitive problems with people that have schizophrenia, it will cause your brain to misfire, and at times you won't be able to function as well as you normally would when it's working properly. So at some points, for me, what it does, it gets me confused. I've had periods where I thought I was in a different city, or I went out and came back and someone was waiting for me in the car, and I completely had no clue where they parked. I mean, none. And I know people say, well, I've had that experience before, but it was like a panic because I might as well have been in a different city, in a different parking lot, at a different store that I've never been in before. I've even had situations where I'm going someplace I know very well, and I completely, for a space of time, didn't know where I was and was completely lost. And maybe I was like right around the corner from where I had to go. And I've even had that happen not too long ago. Actually, I was at a place that I have to go from time to time to receive different things. And I'm coming down the hallway, and all of a sudden, I totally didn't recognize where I was. In my mind, I panicked a little bit. I'm going down the hallway, a hallway I've been down dozens of times, I did not recognize where I was. I just kept going. I'm like, eventually I'm going to see something I recognize. And eventually it did happen. So anyway, so I just wanted to give you a little backstory on cognitive problems and schizophrenia. Alright, so my cognitive embarrassing moment was, I'm about to get on the subway at this particular place. Actually, yeah, I had went to another city, and in this particular place, they had a restroom there. All right, and so going to the restroom, and I go inside, and I'm getting ready to go and handle what I gotta handle, and I look up, and there are women standing in there. I was so embarrassed, and I looked at the sign before I went in, and I saw men's, but the schizophrenia changed the reading of the sign, and it was the women's bathroom. And I just simply said, "Oh, I am so sorry." Nobody freaked out. They didn't scream, nothing like that. They could just see the embarrassment on my face that it was an honest mistake. So sometimes they just, there are issues. Now, that's not all the time, people with schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder don't all the time have problems with cognition, but from time to time we can have those, and then kind of freak you out a little bit or make you really just uncomfortable until you can, kind of learn how to manage and deal with them. I do want to speak on one other thing because another subscriber asked me about them, and it's about OCD. OCD thoughts, OCD behaviors. Yes, before I started the medication risperidone that I take now at low dose, 0.25 milligrams once a day, I had horrible thoughts, or horrible problems, I would say, with OCD thoughts. OCD involves having thoughts, feelings, or images that are deeply troubling, that last up to an hour or better in a day. All right. For me, these OCD thoughts were more than an hour. I would think about the same person all day, every day, for most of the day, and this went on for like over 6 months. It was completely tormenting. It was horrible. Maybe for a few moments I wouldn't think about them, but then my mind would go right back on them, and then I'm thinking I'm seeing this person, they're going to be any place that I am. It was awful, awful tormenting. And I didn't have any bad feelings toward the person. Actually, I was very, very fond of this individual, but it just turned into something that was really, really hard because I couldn't stop thinking of them. And I was greatly distressed, and I didn't know what to do about it. So actually, I didn't even talk to my doctor, my psychiatrist, about it. I just noticed that it cleared up after I started the risperidone. Also, as it pertains to OCD rituals. Now, rituals, when you do the same behavior over and over again, I definitely have had problems with those. I still have some issues with those, but they're not as bad, where I would go and check doors, check locks. One time I checked a car that I had. This was years ago, that I actually broke. It was an old roll-up window. I actually broke the window and knocked it off track from rolling it up, thinking that I hadn't locked it, and that was pretty awful. But that's when it was beginning, and I didn't know what it was. I still have some issues now, getting up back and forth, going back and forth, checking the doors in the day, checking them in the night, make sure I lock them, going back and forth. It hasn't progressed to me getting down the stairs and away from the building, coming back. I have had that a few times in the past, but what I do, and this is still a ritual, I count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And sometimes it's just really maddening. But again, the medication is helping a lot with those things, to reduce some of the compulsion of counting and checking. But it can be really bad, So for those symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorder, Generally, medication, psychotherapy is recommended, and depending on how bad the person's case is, from situation to situation. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I wanted to say about it? I think that's it for right now. So anyway, Jonathan, alright, Papa, that's your video response, and anybody out there that this video is helpful for, I hope that it, shed some light on some things for you. And those were my embarrassing moments and a little bit of OCD thrown in the mix, alright, for my guy out there that wanted to know about it. Alright, live and love, mi gente. Te quiero. Either shaking, your voice shakes, or you might get a tremble, you might start sweating, you might start getting really nervous, your heart might start pounding, any number of things. You just become very uncomfortable and you just really want to get the heck out of there. Alright, so anyway, I'm at the store and I'm getting the things that I need and want and whatever, and so open my mouth, and for only gosh knows what happened, I got so anxious and freaking nervous and uncomfortable. I said, I want. That's exactly what happened. I could have went under the floor. She just looked at me, and that were kind of embarrassing, that we experienced as a result of our mental disorder. Okay, one is from anxiety, and the other one would be from a cognitive standpoint. Okay, the first incident, which was an anxiety-induced incident. Anxiety is when you get like really intensely nervous, and either you start. Oh yeah, mi gente, you know who this is. This video will be a video response to All Black Clothes video. Mr. Jonathan, broadcasting live from New York City. All right, what's up, Papa? All right. So you wanted us to talk about different things. So I get to the register, and so at this particular place, they had things, and some of you may have heard me relate this story once before. So just ride with me on this. So we're there, and I'm at the counter, and the lady like, okay, will this be all for you? I'm like, well, actually, no. There's something I want behind you. And she goes, okay, well, what is it? I